Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. This is US market recap video for the week ending April 24th, 2026. So for this week, we start with one of the strongest group here. The semiconductors have a really good week. This is WenX Semiconductor ETF SMH. So here we can see a small base right here, and then we jump up roughly 9.11% this week. Looking at the daily chart, we have a nice breakout here from 427.94. That's the previous high, and from there we pretty much have been going up above the green line, which is the 10-day moving average. We got one pullback here intraday, but quickly bounced back, and then from there we continue to make new high. And Friday we have a pretty big gap up here on higher volume. And you look at the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, we have pretty much not much selling, and this continue to go up. On Friday we have good earnings report for Intel, and this also pushed the whole chip area like move up quite a bit, and Intel is up 23.6%. Here's NVDA, is slowly coming back on the right side of the base, surpassing all the middle points here during the base, and now we are very close to new high 212.19 here. Friday we also have a big move here on higher volume, so that is welcoming. So it is getting set up to possibly break out from this previous high. Other stocks that also did really well in the mega cap area, including Advanced Micro Device AMD. Here we break out from a double bottom base here, pretty long base as well, and from there we move up, and then we had a first pullback here, and then quickly we found support and we continue to move up. Again, Friday we see many stocks including AMD gap up here. And so obviously right now, most of these stocks are very extended from the 10-day, the green line. So yeah, we'll have to, if you're not in it, probably best to wait for another new entry point. It could possibly pull back and get closer to the 10-day and see how it reacts. Another stock that did really well on Friday here on the mega cap area is ARM Holdings, ARM, and here we have also a nice breakout from this handle here. After that we just continue to move up, and again Friday we have not only a gap up but a huge move to close the day. So very strong move right now, also very extended at this moment. Next we have Taiwan Semiconductor. This one also formed a cup with handle base pattern, and on Friday we also break out. It didn't close at the top of the range, but overall it's still close range is 55%, so that's not bad. Yeah, so we'll see if this can continue to move up. Here's Broadcom also trying to break out here on Wednesday, and then Thursday it pulled back slightly. Friday it went down further in the morning, but again bounced back to close strong. So again, those ones also setting up to move higher. Overall, the mega chip area is really strong, and also many other chips are doing well. So in my second video, we'll be talking more about other chip stocks. So make sure you want to follow that one. Thank you. Here's IGV, the iShares Tech Software Sector ETF. For the week, we only up 0.1%. We were able to move up Monday to Wednesday, but it went down Thursday very hard. Here's the daily chart, and you can see it better. We were bouncing from the bottom here, and then like I said, Thursday we have a bad day due to earnings from ServiceNow, and from there we on Friday recovered slightly, but that Thursday brought many software stocks down. So here's the ServiceNow chart and OW. So again, very similar to IGV, was bouncing up, and then Thursday we have a pretty bad reaction to the earnings report, and it came down pretty hard here. So on Thursday it was down over 18%. Again, Friday it recovered 6%, so just slightly, and we are way below the 10-day right now. Other software stocks that also pulled back on Thursday include Palantir here. You can see it went below its all the short-term moving averages on Thursday, and on Friday it did bounce back, but again not that much higher. We're still below all the short-term moving average. Here's Microsoft, also been bouncing until Wednesday before pulling back on Thursday pretty sharply to the green line, which is the 10-day moving average. It did bounce back on Friday and make a higher high, intraday high than Thursday, so that is not too bad. so might be good to watch this. We have earnings coming out next week, so that could also be a catalyst. Here's Google. It looks a lot better as it's starting to pull back on the towards the 10-day here on Tuesday, but it bounced back pretty fast here, and on Friday it was able to make a new recent high. We are like, very close to from 344 to 349 here, the next breakout point. We have Meta here pulling back also recently here. Thursday it also fell to its green line, which is the 10-day moving average, and from there we bounced back on Friday. There was some layoff news announced as well, so that helped boost the stock as well. So this one is also reporting in 4 days. So yeah, Google also reporting next week. So a lot of these stocks are reporting. Here, Amazon also reporting next week. This one actually break out here on Friday. That is a very welcoming move. So, this is, in general, most of this are doing not too bad, actually. We'll look at other tech mega caps here, including Apple. Apple was bouncing until Monday, but Tuesday it came down pretty hard. Wednesday, Thursday it bounced back, and then Friday it gave up again. This is also reporting next week, so lots of big movers next week. This is Tesla. Tesla reported earnings this week, and on Wednesday after hours, it didn't react well to it. It came back down for the week, down 6%. And you can see the future guidance here. It came out 52% growth on March quarter, but forward guidance go from 8% to 1% to 15% to 19%. So overall, yes, not the strongest guidance here. Here we go. You can see better now. Let's go to daily chart, and you can see it's been pulling back even before the earnings, and the earnings push it down now below the short-term moving average. On Friday, it tried to come back above it, but couldn't. It closed at the short-term moving averages here. And here's Netflix. After the previous week's earnings report, it didn't do well, and from there we really didn't recover. So right now we are coming down slightly below the red line here, which is the 50-day moving average. So if we do continue breaking below this, it could have a more downside, because right now we're not finding support here at this level, which is not good. Here's the Nasdaq composite chart here. It makes new high on this week, up 1.5%. On the daily chart, we can see it wiggle a little bit, but it did make new high on Wednesday and Friday here, making an all-time high. Again, this chart is very strong at this moment. The 10-day chart, 10-day moving average moving up pretty much at a 60-degree angle. Very strong market. Here's S&P 500 also making new high this week, up 0.5% for the week. On the daily chart, we also see it wiggle a little bit, but eventually did make new high on Friday, closing the week strong. Here's Dow Jones Industrial Weekly chart. It is down 0.4% for the week, so it is the weakest index right now. And on the daily chart, you can see it didn't bounce much like other index did on Friday, which is very surprising. So this is down, closer to the 10-day right now. But it's still, in the uptrend. So, but it's just a little bit performance-wise. You can see the relative strength here. It's making new lows, so it's underperforming on the index. Russell 2000 also make small progress here, up 0.3% for the week. On the daily chart, we also pull back here on till Thursday, closing in on the 10-day green line, but it did bounce off it on Friday. However, it didn't make new highs, so that's something we still need to see here to carry that momentum continuing upward. Here's the 10-year Treasury note, bouncing back above the short-term moving average. Friday, it did close back down, but it's still above it. Here's the US dollar also bouncing back this week, but it's still below most of the major moving averages here, the short-term moving average. And the US oil price actually bounced back this week. It did drop a little bit on Friday before bouncing back from the low. However, this didn't affect the market this week as much, so that's interesting. Here's the gold price, also slightly below the moving average this week. It's having a hard time bouncing back, so not working as well. Silver also performing very similarly below the short-term moving average. Here's Bitcoin. It has been bouncing back slowly, however, it is very volatile. We see that Monday, Tuesday drop here before bouncing back to new high on Wednesday. Again, Thursday and Friday is pulling back to its near its green line here. So but it looks pretty good in that sense because the volume has been lower on the sell side. So perhaps it could have more room to run. Going into next week, we have the Federal Reserve meeting. I believe this might be Federal Reserve Jerome Powell's last conference meeting. And then we have inflation data coming out as well on Thursday, and GDP first quarter also coming out on Thursday, which is forecast to grow 2.3%. And then obviously we are in earnings season now with lots of earnings. That includes Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon, SanDisk, WDCs, STX, so a lot of the memory guys. And then we have Caterpillar, CLS, Bloom Energy, and Chevron, and many others. So looking at the week, despite we have we're very positive way for the Nasdaq and S&P as they make new highs. We did suffer 2 distribution day on S&P here on Tuesday and Thursday, so that is also interesting. We still have more accumulation than distribution on both the stocks and industry groups here, with 200 outpacing 145 here on the number of stocks. And then on the sector side, we have technology still doing really well, 37 at the end of the week, with net accumulation minus distribution. Retail is kind of neutral. Industrial also doing well, and then health is actually negative. Financial is negative, and there is some commodities, energy related, that is also up slightly. So overall, we've seen strong performer in the technology and also in the industrial area. And then we do see the number of growth stocks are deteriorating this week, as a lot of them did hit new highs and pull back. So some of them are not in uptrend right now; they're back in downtrend. So 42% now is in uptrend versus last week we closed at 81% that is in uptrend. So some stocks have pulled back, but there's still 40% of stocks in uptrend. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. Make sure you follow it, and we'll talk about stocks that have report earnings, who are the big winners as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.